The team came across a 120-unit building near I-60 and Country Club in Mesa. This building is in an up-and-coming area close to a new Starbucks and a Costco. Mesa has a shortage of housing units, and since each of these units all have kitchens, this building could easily be converted to an apartment building to help meet this growing demand. But the property also has some problems. The current owner has owned the hotel for over 20 years, and although he has maintained the property, it needs a facelift to attract a higher paying resident. This property provides a tremendous opportunity for our investors as we execute our plan to renovate the property, change the operations to a higher end Airbnb, and then ultimately convert the asset to an apartment building. We're here driving in John's truck. I feel like we should be pulling a big RV or probably a mobile home behind us because this is like a dually axle. I mean, what this can probably pull about anything, right?
30,000 pounds.
He's got his cowboy hat, and we're off to see this property. What do you guys like about this area? I know, Diana, you live in Mesa, and this is right here off of Country Club and off of I-60.
We're seeing amazing changes down here right now.
The city of Mesa has come in and they are redeveloping with a few new programs. There's a grant program, there's Mesa Beautiful program, where they are redoing all the streets. They're redoing the landscape to make it a beautiful area.
And Starbucks just built a location right next to the complex.
Starbucks in the neighborhood means they're going. They always stay ahead of the curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come in not when the neighborhood's going down, they come in when it's going up.
Yeah, this area has changed a lot from the Mesa of 10 years ago. If you look at the Home Depot, the Costco, the Winco, there's a lot of things right here very close to this property.
I think we're up here on the left.
It is a 120-unit extended stay hotel. The current owner has owned the building for over 20 years, and the building was constructed in the mid-1980s. So I really like the layout of Venture on Country Club. There is an office and lobby in the front of the building. There's gates on both sides. In the middle of the property is a very nice courtyard that has a swimming pool, a cabana, a hot tub, and a nice waterfall feature. And about half of the units face the courtyard and the pool area, which is a really nice view. The other half of the units are on the exterior facing the parking lot. But I think the most interesting thing is that as we went out and looked at the building, knowing that it's currently a hotel, we saw how it could easily be made into an apartment building with nice amenities, with those common areas that people who live in apartments really value and will pay more for. Look, this will be our biggest project, but I'm really excited about it. I know we've been texting back and forth for the last few weeks since we did the walkthrough, and there's been some late night texts back and forth as we've been trying to work through all the problems.
All right, so I got some interesting news, good news and bad news about the project. Spent quite a bit of time talking to a few zoning attorneys I know, got some people's attention, and I also spoke to a couple architects and a few other groups. If we want to go where we need to go, which is run this as a pure apartment building and put traditional debt on it, we're going to have to get it either rezoned to allow multifamily, which it's a density issue. I won't go too much into detail right now with you guys about that. Get it rezoned to allow the density we have, or a use permit change. So not big deal. Some people think, oh my gosh, I got to fight the city on this. It's not a fight. It's a process, and we can get through this.
Well, and we know the city of Mesa needs more housing.
Everybody does.
Our property manager that's located out there, lives there, has no available units. So I think ultimately turning this to an apartment building makes a lot of sense. And I'm also excited to be able to run it as a short-term rental for a while because of the cash flow. As a short-term rental, it generates significant cash flow, but the value is much stronger as an apartment building. And since our
The
model,
value being the back end value, the sale price.
correct.
Yeah.
So since we're going to go sell this in a few years, that's why we do it the right way. To your point, John, we need to get the zoning done. We need to convert it to an apartment building ultimately, and because we want to sell it to a buyer who will buy it as an apartment building.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about this. Just to rezone it and get the permission and approvals to run as an apartment building, therefore put lower interest rate debt and traditional apartment building debt on this, increases the value just by doing that. So it's amazing to think about that we wouldn't have to do anything at all with this building if we didn't want to, other than put mailboxes in and do some things that apartment buildings need. And the value goes up significantly just because it's an apartment building by getting the city to agree to change the use on it.
So the biggest concern I have is I don't want to run it as a motel the way it's being ran right now. We got to transition this from the current roadside motel feel that it has to a premium short-term rental Airbnb feel. And I think as I've looked at the property, it can definitely get there. It has a great courtyard, a great pool, but there also needs to be a lot of work done on a renovation standpoint. So how would we go about that?
Well, the work I'm seeing is not big heavy lifting, because we've done heavy lifting. This isn't on a Marlette property. It's 120 units, but each one of those units is a really light lift. Appliance package, flooring, paint, a few other little things in it to make it feel like more of an apartment again, and we're done.
We're really just talking about refacing, and we don't have to overthink it. We don't have to do anything crazy in order to really elevate it. And we just need to, like I said, resurface. The building itself actually has so much potential. A huge part of that is the really outdated color. And I know this seems really fundamental and kind of basic, but even just lightening the whole building makes anything that we do stand out. You can't have the impact if there's not contrast. And so we're gonna lighten it up. We're gonna really do some nice intentional landscaping. And then to really make that shaded front entry, which is sort of like it's like a really hotel look. And then I feel like we can really use that to our advantage by highlighting it with either stone or wood accents. On the rendering, we put wood because I love the look of an organic wood, but really any accent that we put that makes it a feature instead of just, an outcropping is gonna really elevate the look of this building.
And the great thing is the cash flow that this will generate is strong enough that we can begin paying distributions very early to our investors. And I think our investors will really like that. So I think this is a really unique opportunity. Credit to John finding this deal. Hotel to apartment conversions are happening quite a bit right now, but they're very difficult to find, especially the extended stay that have the full kitchens ready to go.
I love this property, and I love that we are staying open-minded and we're looking at these different options that are really valid and really ultimately profitable.
And again, I want to harp on the fact the things that we would have done on a bigger property like this, if we were buying it, even if it's an apartment building, the owner's done. I don't think the roofs, which are clay tile roofs, were taken off and repaired. Brand new boiler system, brand new what are called P-Tech units, the air conditioning units, which are the hotel style, which work really, really well for us. The pools are redone. It's gated.
I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I'm very confident. The idea of running as a hybrid project, as we're getting our approvals from the city, I feel very confident about the project, how it's going to cash flow, how we transition, and also with the advice from our architects and zoning attorneys, how we get through that and make that happen.
Venture on Country Club. Let's do it.
Okay, that's it. We'll call it that.
If you like what you've seen and you want more, we actually have a podcast. It's called Kiss My Assets. It's a little bit more casual, a little bit more in depth, and we would love to have you join along. It's Kiss My Assets, basically on any podcast platform that you use.